I just want to say hello to everybody and tell you how excited we are to have you come into our event. We are going to be packing tens of thousands of meals and putting them back into the community for children and families in need right here in the First Coast in Northeast Florida. And we can't thank you enough as our community partners for all you're doing to help us give back and further our mission. But before, I wanted to go over our meals with you just a little bit to talk about our 3 meals. We're going to be packing our Cheesy Mac meal, our beans and rice meal, and also our oatmeal breakfast meal. Now, each one of these meals has 20 essential minerals and vitamins and high in protein. And each of the, if you'll notice at the end of each of these tables is the raw ingredients. These are the stations, either 3 stations on the oatmeal breakfast, 4 stations on the beans and rice, and 3 stations on the Cheesy Mac are gonna have gloves. These are the only stations that need gloves. Nobody else along the station will need it. So if you're at these stations, when you get to it, please put your gloves on and notice that there is a respective scoop for each particular product. And we'll go over that in just a second. So when you're at the Cheesy Mac or the beans and rice, the person who is actually holding the pouch and collecting all the raw ingredients is going to put either a cheese packet in for the Cheesy Mac or a seasoning packet in for the rice and beans and rice. And that will go in before this goes up underneath the funnel. And so what we're going to do is show you that, if you'll notice, like I said, every station has its respective scoop. Yes, there are 2 scoops for the noodles. One is a little bit bigger than the other, and we always go in a counterclockwise. The noodles and the rice and the oats are always the last thing that go into the funnel because they are the staple. So we want to make sure that we get the dehydrated vegetables, then the pinto beans, then the soy, then the rice. And when it comes to the oatmeal breakfast, we want to get the brown sugar, oats, and oats. So we're going to walk you through one of the beans and rice meals at this point and make sure that we put the seasoning packet in it first. So what we're going to do is put the seasoning packet in. Each one of the scoops, you're going to want to make sure you take a hefty scoop and either do like Taylor Swift says, shake it, shake it, shake it, or run your finger across the top and level it off. It's very important that we level off the scoops, otherwise the content of the meal is not going to be correct, it's not going to taste proper, and the nutritional value is not going to be correct as well. And as I said, make sure that the staple, whether it be the rice, the noodles, or the oats, is the very last thing that goes in the pouch. They will then put the pouch into the basket right there. We will grab the one out of the basket. We're gonna make sure that the scale is on with 1 0. That 0 means it has grams. If it has multiple zeros, you're gonna wanna make sure you tap the left button until it gets back to 1 0. It has to have 1 0 with the basket on it. We're then gonna weigh it. This particular meal needs to weigh between 270 and 275, same as the Cheesy Mac. It's at 270 to 275 as well. And then the oatmeal breakfast is at 252 to 257. So what we're gonna do, this one is at 267. So we're gonna add just a little bit to it to get it to 270 to 275. I got it at 274. Then we're gonna place it right here. And then the person in front of the sealers is gonna just try to take as much air out of the bag as possible, hold it really tight, and then simply put it on the guide and let it go down the conveyor belt. Once it goes down the conveyor belt, it's gonna drop off onto the table, onto a grid. And if you'll notice here, there are 15 squares on this grid. However, one says tape gun and cowbell. We wanna make sure we do not put any food on that square, leaving us 14 squares. And so the person that gets this is gonna wanna try to flatten this out as much as possible to get it ready to be packed and place one on each one of these 14 squares. Since we need, as it says right here, 3 layers or 42 bags, we want to make it simple for you. So we want to put the very first layer face up, the second layer we're going to put face down, and the third layer we're going to put face up. But we want to do 1 layer at a time. That way we don't worry about anything sliding off, miscounting, or anything of that nature. Once that's done, we want to ring a cowbell. We're super excited because that means you just did an entire case of meals or 168 servings, and it's going to provide for children and families right here in Northeast Florida that are in need and are considered food insecure and hungry. So we just want to say thank you so much for coming and joining us. for giving of your money and your time and helping us further our mission into every community in the area. Thank you.